Hey everyone, welcome back to my series on the films of director Robert Zemeckis. He's got his Denzel Washington film Flight coming out in early November, so I'm doing a series on all of his films. And this is the second episode, and I'm going to be talking about Romancing the Stone, which I believe came out in 1983. This was a hit for Zemeckis. Did well at the box office, which is a good thing because his first two movies didn't do all that well, and he needed to prove his commercial viability. So luckily, this film made some money, and so he was able to go on and do some really good stuff later on. The plot involves a romance novelist played by Kathleen Turner, who gets a call, finds out that her sister's been kidnapped by some thugs who want Kathleen Turner to fly down to Colombia, where they are, and bring them a treasure map that was mailed to her. She isn't really prepared for an adventure of this kind. She's a sort of an indoor type girl. She isn't married. She lives with her cat, and she sort of fantasizes about meeting the type of rugged, adventurous man who she likes to make the hero of so many of her books. So she flies on to Colombia, really out of sorts. She gets on the wrong bus. She travels out in the middle of the jungle, basically, where a guy who wants the map for himself finds her and threatens her. But then the Michael Douglas character, Jack Colton, comes along and saves her, and she asks him to help her in getting to a town where she can figure out how to get her sister back. They check out the map and discover that if it's a treasure map, they decide that if it's a treasure map, maybe the best course of action would be to find whatever the treasure is that the map leads to, and then bargain with that instead of the map itself. They stand a better chance of getting her sister back. In the meantime, one of the kidnappers are cousins, basically, and one of them is played by Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is running around getting into all sorts of trouble, trying to figure out what's going on with this woman, the romance novelist, who went, completely the wrong direction, and he's got problems of his own. He's not really on board with the kidnapping. He thinks it's a bad idea. He's also on the lookout for this warlord type named Zolo, who's also after the map because he wants the treasure for himself. He's a very vicious, scary guy. I think the last time I saw this movie was 1994. I can pinpoint that. That would have been like the most recent time I saw it. But I actually saw it when it was in the theater, and I was like 11, I guess, when the movie came out. No, 10 years old, something like that. And I really liked it at the time. Zemeckis, of course, being a protege of Spielberg, does this thing at the beginning of the movie where he dramatizes the last chapter of Kathleen Turner's most recent book. And he hides the characters' faces in shadow, in much the same way that Spielberg hid Harrison Ford's face in the beginning of the first Indiana Jones movie. He's turned away or he's in shadow, and then at the key moment he steps into the light and you can see what he looks like. And that's something that Zemeckis here does as well. He does it also with the introduction of the Michael Douglas character, sort of tying him into that sort of mysterious and apparently very handsome, appealing fella that Kathleen Turner would take a liking to. I was pretty shocked, actually. In one scene in this movie, there's a character gets his hand bitten off by a crocodile. And it's pretty bloody for a PG movie. Yeah, I'm just like, I'd never seen anything as graphic at the time, PG was much more lenient back then than it is now. They might get away with a PG-13 rating if they did that nowadays, but it's fairly bloody. And it looks awfully painful as well. That guy's gonna have to... man, it's nuts. So I was prepared to recommend this movie until I watched it again. I just got finished watching it. And like I said, it's been the first time since I've seen it in like 18 years. And it's actually really not that good of a movie. I don't really think it's all that good. It's kind of cheesy. It's a lot of the dialogue is kind of dumb. It's kind of slow paced for an adventure movie. there's some good moments in there, and I like Kathleen Turner a lot in this movie. She's very pretty and really good playing this sort of neurotic character. And Michael Douglas, well, he's his usual charming, slightly irritable self, so that's good. I'm not really that big of a fan of Danny DeVito. I mean, I've seen a lot of the films that he's done. Most recently, he was in another Michael Douglas movie called Solitary Man. This came out, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been ages since they were last in a movie together. Danny DeVito, really not that great of an actor. I mean, he's good. He's funny. He can be funny at times, but yeah, he's just sort of annoying and not that natural, I guess. I don't know. He's sort of an old favorite of a lot of people, I'm sure. But yeah, the movie itself, not that great. I'm glad it was a hit and everything. But yeah, I don't really think it's all that good. It's kind of cheesy and obvious. Really simple, very, very simple film. But it's a good thing that it did well, because then Zemeckis went on to do a lot of other really great films, much better films. For my last video, I talked about his first 2 movies, one of which was I Want to Hold Your Hand, and although I described what happens in the movie, I don't think I actually talked about whether I liked it or not. And I do. I think it's a fun movie, it's a madcap comedy, a good ensemble cast, kind of crazy. Not really, I don't like it as much as Used Cars, but it's decent. And I think it's actually better than Romancing the Stone. So I would go for that one before Romancing the Stone, or just ignore it altogether. But the next movie that I'm going to be talking, of course, the next film that he did is Back to the Future, which is one of the very best movies ever. One of my favorite movies of all time. I'm really looking forward to talking about that. And I'm going to watch it again for the first time in I don't know how long. But, ever since I first saw it, it's been a favorite of mine, so I'm really looking forward to getting back into that again. It's very exciting. And since it's a time travel movie, I thought maybe I'd also see Looper, which just came out, and maybe compare the two. I mean, they're very different, but they're both time travel movies, so why not? Why not talk about that one too? So I hope you'll tune in for that. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.